You usually either get one or the other. You're going to have a high rate and a good price on the house, or it's going to be the other way around, which is you're going to have a low rate, but you're going to pay out the nose for the house. No concessions, maybe a little over asking price, things like that, which was what was happening in 2020 when we were seeing the 2s and 3% interest rates.
Hey, what's up? It's John Arroyo with the Ruby Red Media Home Team. Interesting thing today when I was on Facebook this morning scrolling around, a buddy of mine posted this graphic. Now, Kevin Stafford, he owns his own mortgage company. It's called Integrity Mortgage Group. He's with us here today. Kevin, how are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Yeah, no, not bad, man. Hey, we're in Florida, so we're doing great. Now, you are licensed in Tennessee, Florida. Where else are you licensed at?
Tennessee, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and Arkansas. So the whole Southeast.
Yeah, if you need a loan anywhere in the Southeast, this guy is your guy. And, you always post some of the most interesting stuff on Facebook. And when I saw this morning, it says, boom, got to the office this morning, and this is what I saw, 3.953. Can you explain to us what this graphic means?
Right. So people in the mortgage industry, what we use to know if rates are going to be good or bad is the 10-year Treasury, because that's what derives a 30-year loan. It approached about 5, through August and September. That's when you were seeing those 8.25 rates. Now that it's starting to creep back down, if that gets, closer to, 3.75, 3.5. I actually just priced some government loans, and I can get a high 5 on those right now. I can get 5.8, 6%, 6.1s, depending on the credit scores for all your government products. So your USDAs, your VAs, and your FHA loans. I also priced out a couple of conventional loans this morning. Loan amounts under $250 are coming in right at 6% on a 30-year loan. And the ones that are over that still have those overlays on them. They're not quite in the 6s yet. But like I said, if that 10-year Treasury creeps down just a little bit more, all your conventional products are going to be in the 6s, and your FHAs are going to be clean into the 5s, which we didn't think this was going to happen until about the middle of next year. So the fact that this has happened quicker is awesome.
Yeah, no kidding, man. And when we see this graph, it says 3. Let me move myself over here. It says 3.958. Now, why do us as consumers not get that rate? Why, if it's 3.958, why don't we get that at back below 4%? Right now, it's sitting about 6.5, 6.75. Is that right?
That's right. Well, so think of it like that's the wholesale price. That's not the retail. There's a lot of middlemen that's going to touch that money before it lands at your loan. So usually you can bank on a couple of 2 to 3 points difference between what the 10-year Treasury is and what a 30-year interest rate is going to be, because, the banks are making margins, the lenders are making, there's a cost to get the money from the bottom of the barrel up to the top.
So let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on what's going to happen in 2024? When you see this kind of movement this quickly, what are your thoughts on what we can see to the start of the new year?
So I've urged pretty much most of my customers that are either on the fence or in pre-approved status to hurry up. I think by February, the likelihood of us having a 2020 and 2021 all over again is pretty strong. I think it's going to flip right back to the seller's market sooner than later. So right now, these buyers can get a little discount on the house. They can get all their closing costs paid for them because they're still, you usually either get one or the other. You're going to have a high rate and a good price on the house, or it's going to be the other way around, which is you're going to have a low rate, but you're going to pay out the nose for the house. No concessions, maybe a little over asking price, things like that, which was what was happening in 2020 when we were seeing the 2s and 3% interest rates. The difference in this market this time in 24, you're going to have a huge refi boom in 24. I expect that to be, enormous. But what everybody really needs to pay attention to is the people that bought in 2019 or before, they're sitting on a buttload of money. I'm talking about many homes around the nation have doubled in value. So these people have money, big time money. They don't want to leave their 3 or 4% interest rate for an 8 or a 7.5, but they'll leave it in a heartbeat for a 5. They will. And
Yeah.
because they want that extra bedroom, they want that kid to go to this school, they want a little bit more acre, all the stuff that they want, they've got the money. Those people have the money. And those people, when they get ready, next year's going to be just huge. It's going to be a big shift in real estate.
What are you thinking about refinance? Now, there are a lot of people that maybe bought at the wrong time, like I did. We moved here in August, so we got financed right about 8%. How many people are getting refinanced at this point? Because I did do some work in the calculator and saw that I could get several $100s off of my mortgage payment every month if I refinance now, which is crazy because it was just 4 or 5 months ago. Are you seeing a lot of that action right now?
So refinance applications are up about 19% as of this week. In your circumstance, the August loan, that was back when 10-year Treasury was at the 5% mark. I think that over the next 3 to 6 months, it's going to get substantially better. So even though, yes, you could save a couple of hundred right now, the cost of refinancing, I don't know what your loan is, but say it's a $250,000, $300,000 loan, you're going to spend a couple of 7, 8, 9 grand to refinance that. So I would hold at this moment and wait for the most opportune time. Next year's an election year. So, everything comes down during election years, the gases, the foods, the mortgages, all that stuff's going to happen. So the main thing is you only want to pay for this one more time and then be done with it until you sell that house. So if you were to do it now, you wouldn't maximize it. And I think that you would want to do it again. So it would be a waste of money right now. Even though you could save a couple of $100, I think you can get a really big bang if you wait till closer to, June or July. Just kind of watch it. Watch that 10-year Treasury. If you see that 10-year Treasury getting to the low 3s, it might be ready to pull the trigger. But the storm is just starting. I wouldn't get on board right yet.
Okay, and so this is something you see continually going down, especially with it being election year. I've always noticed that too. Things suddenly seem to get better when we're talking about people getting reelected. So that should definitely show something, right?
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's gonna. I really think it's going to be big this time because a lot of people in 20 and 21, the refi boom wasn't as strong as it should have been. And right when it really started lifting off the ground, when we got to about February of 22, everything just fell out. So there was a ton of people that missed it. And normally a good refi boom will last a couple of 2 or 3 years. So we didn't really even scratch the surface before it all got wiped out from under us. And then if you throw in to the mix, the amount of credit card debt is through the roof right now. A lot of people can't buy a house and get what they want because of the price per square footage. A lot of them will take out equity and make their home with the current home they have what they really wanted. It works out better in a lot of cases. And then, of course, we still got all these people with a ton of money that are going to be coming with $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 down on whatever they want. And they just want that rate to be halfway decent.
Now, let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on short-term rentals and how the investment market's going to look here in Florida in the coming months if those rates continue to drop?
I don't get into the whole rental thing a whole lot. I'm pretty much an owner-occupied guy. I know that there is a bill at the floor right now that they're trying to pass. If you own more than 75 units, they're going to charge you $10,000 per property. I don't know if that will pass. And I also know that there is a big legislation on hedge funds as far as stopping them and making them sell what they have. Now, whether that gets anywhere or not, I just heard about this maybe a week or two ago. I don't know. But I will tell you, if you cut out some of these big box people, it'll sure make it good for, Americans that want to buy properties and do, short terms or long term rentals on them. I like that fact. That's a good way to accumulate wealth. A lot of people will keep their first home and do a little rental on it and move up. And that was easy to do for years, but it's gotten a lot harder over the years because, if you remember, people would just pay 20 grand over, write a check for it, and a finance person couldn't compete with that big pocket. So I would kind of like to see some of that happen and let normal, regular people that want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these things get them. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, and I would love to see just first-time home buyers, because you see the price of entry so high for these first-time home buyers that it's really hard for them to get in, especially if they don't have any equity already built in to their property because they don't have the money to put down on these expensive homes. But yeah, man, that's awesome. Hey, Kevin Stafford, Integrity Mortgage Group, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today to kind of teach us about what you think is going to happen in the new year. Very excited about what's happening here. We have a lot of inventory on market right now. We've seen a price decrease of about 10% in certain areas. Here in my neighborhood, we definitely have seen a bit of a decrease. So this is a great time for buyers to latch on and get in something while there's still inventory available. If the market does what you're saying, it's going to cause a situation like we had a couple years ago where it's going to be sight unseen. Multiple offer situations. And believe me, as a buyer, you do not want to be in that situation. So if you listen to Kevin here, he's saying buy and buy now.
If this trend continues, I think that the whole buyer's market thing may end in about 90 to 120 days. I'd say get a house now because it's going to rapidly change.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, man. And if you'd like any information about Kevin or his group, we'll go ahead and include that in the comments below. You guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.